1 year ago to the Chitas of today. We are holding the book of Genesis, Parsha Vayechi, chapter 48, verse number 17. And Yosef saw that his father placed his right hand on the head of Ephraim. And he was not happy. It was not good, pleasing in his eyes. So he held his father's hand. He wanted to move it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh. He lifted his hand off the head of his son and held it in his own hand. Yosef said to his father, "This is not the right way. Because Manasseh is the Becher. Simna Yemincha Reisha, put your right hand on his head, and that's where it belongs." But his father refused. Yaakov refused. He said, "My son, I know. He'll be a great people. He'll grow up. He'll be great. But his younger brother is going to be greater than him. Because he will be, his children will be fame, will fill the nations." So Rashi said, I know who the firstborn is. Gideon will come out from the descendants of Manasseh. For Yeshua, Joshua, is destined to be the descendant of Ephraim, and he will bring the Jews into Eretz Yisrael. Says the whole world will be filled with his fame, and his name will spread. When the sun stopped in Givon, in the valley of Elon, and he blessed him on that day. Lamer, with you Israel will be blessed. Lamer Yisimcha Kimcha Ephraim and Manasseh. That when the children, we bless our children, we'll say that God should make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. But Yosem is Ephraim, they Manasseh, put Ephraim before Manasseh. Manasseh, whoever wishes to bless his sons, will bless him with this blessing. That a man will bless them. May you be like Ephraim and Manasseh. One of the beauties we see from Ephraim and Manasseh, that even though Yaakov praised Ephraim above Manasseh, they were not jealous of one another. Manasseh was happy with Ephraim's blessing. And that's why every father is happy when his children, even if the younger one is more successful, he's happy. When the children are happy with each other's success, then the father's happy. So Ephraim, before the blessing, to give him preceding in the grouping that Ephraim, even though he's the youngest brother, will come first. And then God said to Yosef, I'm going to die. God will be with you. I'll bring you back to the land of your forefathers. Verse 22, and I am going to give you one portion over your brothers, which I took from the hands of the Amorites, with my sword and my bow. Now she says, Yaakov Avinu says, since you are taking the troubles to occupy yourself with my burial, I'm giving you an inheritance where you will be buried. And which is this? Shechem. I'm giving you the city of Shechem. And Yosef's bones and his children he saw, as they brought later, brought him to Shechem. Shechem Echalachecha. Shechem Echalachecha is actually the city of Shechem, which would be one share of his brothers. Accordingly, we render Shechem, which one who shares over his brother, the city of Shechem. Bechaybi Bekashti. What's Bechaybi with my sword and my bow? When Shimon and Levi killed all the people of Shechem, all those nations around Yaakov assembled to attack him. But Yaakov took his weapons of war against him. So therefore, Yaakov said, I stood up for the city. Another explanation, one portion refers to the birthright. It indicates that Yosef's sons would take two shares. Shechem is the word of portion. So Shechem is not a city, but Shechem is a portion. You shall place them as a portion, Shechem. You shall place my enemies before me as a portion. So Shechem is a portion. Shalakachtem miyad mighty from the hands of Esav, who behaved like an Amorite. Another explanation: why is Esav called a mighty? Because Esav is usually called Edom. Over here, is called a mighty because he deceived his fathers with his mouth. Emor. With my sword and my bow, Rashi says, b'chachma v'tfilasi. I took it away from him with my wisdom and my prayers. That completes the Chumash for today. We're in the middle of the chapter 9 of Tanya. But the Alter Rebbe is talking about the concept of, through the avodah of a Yid, that he transforms, he overcomes his Yetzer Hara, his animalistic soul, and ultimately he uses it out for Kedusha. That means he takes the fire and the excitement of his nature, his animal soul, and he transforms it to have a fire and an excitement in the godliness. He ultimately can reach up to Ava B'Tanugim. So there's Ava Rabba, Ava B'Tanugim, Avas Olam, and Ava Rabba. There's a great love. There's a worldly love, as we learn in Chassidus. And we ultimately reach up to Ava B'Tanugim, that we have a Ava of delight. That means not only do we have a love in what we're doing, it's greater, it's even more. The Ava of delight, that goes till the Ratzin, that affects the Ratzin, because the light is in the Ratzin, the will of a person. To have delight. This is Ava B'Tanugim, love which experiences delight. So not only do I love something, but I actually have a delight in it. I should have a good tainug, a good feeling. Which an experience to the delight today, even in Galus, in darkness, to experience a delight as you'll foretaste of the work to come. Right? So you have a tainig. Since man's reward in the world to come consists of delight and godliness. Where can you find this delight? This delight is in the brains of a human being, in a seichel. This chachma is wisdom and intelligence. Which delights in perceiving and knowing God. According to the capacity of one's intellect and wisdom. Therefore, even in the concept of delight, self-understood, each person has a different delight. And that's why we can find something in Yiddishkeit, in godliness, whether it's a mitzvah, whether it's a Torah learning. We can find something, because there's a lot of Torah learning also. You can learn many different things. So every one of us finds delight in something else. Some people like halacha, Jewish law. Some people like Jewish philosophy. Some people like Torah in general, whatever. Midrashim, Gemara. And therefore, we have to find a delight. We ultimately have to create a delight in what we do. This delight is the level of water, and a seed, meaning the light that is sown into the holiness of the divine soul. That which transforms to good, as that's when you transform the water in the animalistic soul, the godly soul's water transforms the water, so to say, the tainug, the delight that the animal soul has in the world. It transforms it to the light of godliness. Then you have the ultimate aspect of delight. Because there, from the nefesh of Bahamas, comes the lust and the desire, the tainug, the delight that we have in this world, had the previously arisen. So this means the element of water, the animal soul, which had previously expressed itself as a desire for physical pleasure, now expresses itself as a love of God, having been transformed by the divine soul of the godly soul. Because the Beitz Chaim Sharnun is brought down in Kabbalah. In Eitz Chaim Sharnun, the portal 50. Pay the Gimel, the third chapter, B'Shem HaZayah, in the name of the Zayah. Sharan Nepech Liyistev Gama Gama. That's the way ultimate to when the evil of the animal soul is transformed and becomes a perfect good. It becomes like the Yetzer Tov. That's I begodim at saying men when we strip, when we take off the dirty clothes, which is the desire of this world, which is naturally the animal soul's clothed in it, and we bring it into to love and desire godliness. So the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, consists of a powerful drive, an appetite for whatever it perceives as good and desirable. This drive is natural and may be steered by any direction. However, being clothed in the corporal body, it's inclined to physical pleasures. These lusts become unclean garments for the animal soul. By steering it away from the physical pleasures towards an appreciation of spiritual pleasures, the divine soul strips the Yetzer Hara of its unclean garments and clothes it in pure garments, so that it may apply its powerful appetite for pleasure of God and holy matters. This then is the divine soul's desire, that it creates by a means of intellectual faculty a fear and love of God so powerful that it transforms the animal soul to good. That's ultimately our agenda. Skafia means the concept of controlling the animal soul, and Hashapcha, the transformation of the animal soul. And so too the divine soul further desires. He's not only interested in the avas of the love of the God of the animal soul. It's ultimately interested in all the take over the animal soul from head to toe. But all of them, once we accomplish to have love of God, to use the animal soul's love to love of God, to use the animal soul's awe and its respect to respect God, then ultimately will transform all the other attributes. And it should all be Yel Hashem Levade, should be solely for godliness. So thus far, the Alter Rebbe has discussed the divine soul's desire for dominion over the mind and heart. He now goes on to speak of the other organs of the body. An entire faculty of speech of his mouth, and the thought of his mind. We filled exclusively with the divine garments of thought and speech, which is namely the thought of God and His Torah. That his whole day, what should be his speech? As the Gemara calls it, like pasuk pome megirsa. His mouth never seeks from studying. And so to the faculty of action vested in his hand, and all the other organs of his body, we totally focused on the aspect of Torah mitzvahs, which is the third garment, to utilize his action ability to act solely for the sake of Torah mitzvahs. So that is the desire. A person needs to know what the desire of his godly soul is. That's the desire. He needs to be total king. He doesn't want partial kingdom. He wants total kingdom, total dominion. He doesn't want to share with the animal soul. It actually wants that the animal soul should come partner with him. And he should be pushed, transform himself to do only godliness. The problem is that this other adversary is not such an easy character. And this other adversary is not going to walk away so quickly, because he wants the exact same thing. Problem is, the animal soul from Klippa desires the very opposite. It desires that the body be pervaded with faculty and speech and thought. He says, no. I want that I should be I should be the main power. You want to come and visit here once in a while, gesund hate, but I need to be in control. L'teva sa'adam, but the animals so desire for the man's benefit in order she is gabla tzecheh k'masha zayna shebezeh hakadosh. The man's benefit in order to prevails over her and vanquishes her, as the parable, the halal of the so, but self-understood. The Eibishter doesn't give a desire for bad reasons. The Eibishter God gave me my animal soul. I didn't go and buy my animal soul. My animal soul was given to me by God. And why did God give me this animal soul? Is that I should be victorious. As the Gemara, as the parable of the Zaina, the harlot, which is mentioned in the Zohar. So the parable is of the Zaina is a king who desired to test his mortal strength of his son. The king had a son, a prince, his only son, Ben Yochid, and he wanted to make sure that that his son was worthy to be the king, be a child of the king. So he had the most charming and clever woman brought before him, a Zaina, prostitute, explaining to the purpose of the test. He says, listen, brings the Zaina, brings this harlot, and he says, listen, you have a job. The job is you go and test my son. He ordered her to exert every effort. You go and you use all your tools of you use everything you have in your trick box, and you go seduce the king, the queen, the prince. For the test to be valid, the supposed harlot had to use all her charms and guile without betraying her mission in the slightest way. So she can't come and say the king sent me. That will the king, the son is going to say, "Wow, my father's trying to test me." So the nefesh Bahamis comes, does say, "No, I come. It's all about us. We're not here gonna get. The king never sent me. It's about you and me." Any imperfection on her part would mean disobedience and failure to a mission. So the nefesh Bahamis cannot say, "Oh, I care about the prince. I care about the Jew." That's not doing his mission. He has a mission like the godly soul has a mission. So we always talk about the animal soul. We talk bad about him. We call him animal. We call him he's not terrible. He has a mission like the godly soul has a mission. However, while she uses all the seductive powers, what does she really want? Her inner desire is that the prince should not succumb to it. Self-understood that this prostitute, this harlot, doesn't want that the prince should make a sin. She's just doing her job. So too in our case. This is an important thing that we should not blame the nefesh Bahamis, to blame ourselves, because the nefesh Bahamis will be very happy if we would not do the Aveda. Everybody will be happy, like in the mashal. So the harlot goes out. She tries everything and any way to get the king's son to sin. If he doesn't sin, everybody's happy. The king is happy. The son overcame the challenge. The son is happy. He overcame a challenge. And even the harlot's happy that the king's son overcame the challenge. So to your nefesh Bahamis was given to me so that I would overcome my challenge. And if I transform my nefesh Bahamis, who is happy? Everybody's happy. The godly soul is happy. God is happy. I'm happy. My nefesh Bahamis is happy. Everybody is celebrating. So too in our class, Klippa itself desires that man overcomes it and not permit himself to be led astray. This entire stratagem is solely for the man's benefit. And that's it. That is it. We are called Banim Atam Hashem Lekechem. We are all princes and princesses. We all have the one Eibishter, one God who's our king, who's our father. And the Eibishter gave us a Nefesh Bahamis. And this Nefesh Bahamis has a job. Don't blame it in doing its job. And it will be extremely happy if we would not give into it, if we would overcome it. and we would do the right thing. And that completes the Tanya of the day. Today is the 14th day of the month, which is chapter 72 in your Tillim, Psalms, chapter 72 till chapter 76. If you do those 5 chapters of Tillim, you do the Chitas of the day. Wish you a beautiful day. Mit Shem, I'll see you all tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll continue the Chitas.